Hello.
Hi.
And welcome to Cliff Alerts. Today we're going to be talking about OWN Network's reality-based TV series, Love and Marriage DC, Season 1, Ep 2, right?
Yeah, you got to be careful if you talk about someone's marriage. So we're going to talk about behavior here. But from what I see coming from Monique and Chris, seems like Monique, she shanks him with that sliver of a blade she has, and she yanks it in and out at will. You really don't know or can figure out what she did, but she did some damage.
Yeah, and
It's stick and move, you know what I'm saying? She used that smoke and mirror stuff, and it's a little bit, it's really revealing herself. So I'm not sure that she thought this through, that she got some serious vexation of spirit against her husband
Of 10 years?
of 10 years. What I find surprising is that our Google search of therapists in the DC metro area, you're going to get a whole lot of seasoned, experienced therapists. So I'm not sure why the premise is for these couples to discuss their marriages with them and they're not getting the tools, at least in Monique and Chris's case. Seems like they're not getting the tools needed to get to a healthy place, because after 10 years of marriage, from experience, and we could talk from experience,
Yeah.
you don't do the stupid shit you did when you're married.
Stupid what?
Stupid-ish, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Sorry, no.
Stupid-ish you did in year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6. Then you start
Right.
Oh,
Start
okay.
figure that thing out, don't you?
And then when you go to a therapist, oh,
Right.
And then God starts speaking, and He tells you when to turn around and apologize.
Right.
And you get it right. You may have your uprisings every now and then, and sometimes it's seasonal uprisings. If you're a woman of certain age, sometimes it's seasonal. But the kind of stuff I see Monique is doing undercover, there's some real pain going on. And I think they need to address this in private rather than putting it on the streets.
Yeah, I don't think that it's appropriate to do that in such a public way. And we've seen so many instances where that has not gone the way that somebody may have anticipated it would go.
Because we're yet to go to a dinner party and people talk about their sexual stuff over the dinner table, particularly with people you may not know very well. I'm not saying that doesn't happen, but that conversation is had maybe between women friends and people who are supportive of your relationship, who could check you to tell you if you're off or not. But this open thing,
alleged affairs, in one of the cases, I think.
Right, we don't live their lifestyle, but based on the stuff that we have experienced, that's not happening.
I just don't
Now,
understand.
women, when they get together, they talk a little bit more freely and loosely and stuff like that, and women can talk about anything under the sun.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to have that kind of comfort that you trust people that you're revealing yourself to.
Yeah.
But marriages, you can have misunderstandings,
miscommunications,
and a whole lot of different things. There are a whole range of things that can come up, and you got to deal with that in private.
Yeah, I think that's the proper way to deal with it. I don't think it's anything that is, for even for the cameras, and followed.
Right,
I just don't
because
think that's the way to deal with it.
To hear Monique,
Yeah.
she is asking her married friends, the ones that have been married longer, if they have any kernel of advice to give her. and she's been married 10 years.
Right.
Now, you and I started counseling. I don't know what year it was or if we had ever stopped. When we did marriage counseling, we just continued.
Right. Right.
And we learned how to, one, communicate better. We learn how to listen, because that's also something that you have to train yourself to do.
Right, and the importance of listening and being able to repeat back what your partner said.
So what I heard you say was, that's like a thing with conversations.
Yes.
And you could slide.
Before you answer,
Right.
make sure that you heard accurately what your partner said.
Right. Yeah. And we do have arguments, but we have the tools that after the argument we could come back and discuss what was said, so we're on the same page. If feelings were hurt, there's an apology for it, so you can move on.
In some cases, you may be accustomed to doing.
Right, it's something learned.
Yeah, it's something
These are learned skills.
Exactly.
And we got that training from the help of a therapist.
Yes.
When you get married, you tend to think that, okay, this is mine. I don't have to share. I don't have to ask permission to
do what the hell you want to do.
Do what the hell I want.
Right,
I'm grown.
Right.
And again, in marriage, because you're now formulating something new, it's something that you have to practice and get the tools needed so you can work at it. And
hopefully you get better at it the more you do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's where that awareness comes in.
Yep. And
I mean, the stuff we used to argue about when we just got married.
Yeah.
We think that's stupid. No, it's marriage is work, but it's a blessing to have someone who got your back, who is supportive, who you could talk your goals, your dreams, the ideas that you have, and someone who, when you feel hurt and lonely, they understand and they give you some level of compassion and strength.
And encouragement.
And most of all, someone you could pray with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
because we don't do anything without prayer. It's work. Everything is work. But if you want something that's valuable, you got to invest the time to take
put
care
that
of
work
it.
in.
I that's why I'm surprised that 10 years in, and she's having these issues with her husband, that she's not getting the tools. They need help that will be better served coming from a therapist and not their friends. Because it's reality TV, we don't know if Ashley and Silver or Imani, is that her name? Irana and Jamie,
right.
If they are actual friends. Because it doesn't seem to me that's the case. We can't focus on one couple just yet. It's just we still getting to know these people.
Yeah, and there's instances or occasions where you can talk a little bit about them, like that occasion where Chris met with Winter's ex.
Yeah,
Kevin.
When he met,
Chris met
with Kevin, they had lunch. But he looked like he had some other issues, and he was talking about the drama about finances, and as a result, Winter decided to leave the marriage.
Right.
So that was sad. Then we saw Neil,
Jamie, and Quick.
And they're meeting at a bar.
Yeah,
what you can do, I can do better.
Yeah, they were
with the DJ situation.
Yeah, for the CIAA tournament at HBCU
in Baltimore.
Yeah.
And that was interesting. Then we see Monique talking about the dinner party that she planned, a vegan dinner party.
Yeah, with Chef Mel.
And he's preparing the food and whatever. We thought it was funny that both Silver and Ashley stopped at a restaurant before they head on out to Monique's house.
They want some meat, y'all. They want some meat.
Because that's something we would have done.
Hell yeah, we would have done that. We would have slid right into a little joint, got a fish sandwich or something,
I mean, because that's something we have done and probably will continue.
Yeah, y'all don't tell anybody. Shh, all right, don't do that.
And then we come to the dinner party. And at the dinner party, they're discussing affairs. Or that came up, and
alleged affairs, yeah.
That came came up and it was discussed. And at one point, Monique implied that Chris was not a good caretaker. She had COVID and he wasn't checking in on her, and he said no, that's not what happened. And he told her shush in front of everyone.
Hush, yeah, hush.
Yeah, hush.
You tried to hush her. Yeah.
And that would not have played well in this household.
Nope.
So maybe that's the kind of stuff Monique is talking about. We don't know. But she embellished some of the story, and Chris said he wanted to correct.
Yeah, and he apologized in front of the group, and I don't know if that was necessarily, legitimate, or if it was just done for the cameras or whatever, just to add some seasoning to an otherwise dry episode.
Right.
in most instances, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
But in the next episode, we see that she's telling him that he's from Alabama. And we all know that when you tell someone that, you're calling them
Country. Yeah.
So
I don't think she needed to go there with that.
She's shanking him now. And it's a deliberate one.
Right. Oh, but we forgot one thing. Remember at the beginning of the episode, Ashley and Monique met, and they were talking about some things that kind of got your radiator kind of hot and going.
Well, these two men are talking about menopause, and they're discussing women's health so casually that
and cavalierly. Yeah.
It's upsetting. Because any woman who's experiencing early menopause, that is something that you have to seriously check out. And the ignorance around the conversation of menopause and altering your body, women need to be a little more knowledgeable and not just kiki ha about that, because anything as it revolves around a woman is an important conversation. And I just did not like the casual way they were discussing it, as if they're 5 years old rather than grown
and
women.
kikiing about it.
Right.
Yeah, it was interesting to see your reaction to that.
Yeah, I was hot.
Yeah, you was running on hot. That's for sure. Radio was boiling a little bit. I understand from just a husband's point of view that if you're married to your spouse or significant other for any length of time, eventually you're going to get to that point. So it's not going to be just your spouse dealing with it, but you're going to have to deal with it as well.
Absolutely.
So it's going to have to be a team thing, because while the women go through it, their partners are impacted by it as well.
Right.
And sometimes it could be a challenge, like you said.
Right, because the air condition could be on and my fans are still going. There are multiple blankets on the bed, but it is what it is.
I ain't saying nothing. I ain't saying a damn thing. Might get swung on, y'all, so I ain't saying nothing. What? The heat or the cool? The cool air?
The way how you do the blanket at night when it's cold.
Oh my goodness.
When it's freeze. And you put it all over it. Your head like a mummy.
I remember, y'all.
Little good Lord bless it.
Y'all just keep living. You're around her. If you're around your significant other long enough, she's gonna get to that point. So
and that's the whole point.
Right, you're gonna have to
keep
deal with
living.
it. Right, you're gonna have to keep living.
Keep living. She said, "Oh, I'm gonna be like an old hag." Keep living.
Keep living.
And what comes out of your mouth will manifest itself.
No question. What you speak out of your mouth.
So I just needed, let's say, the woman to be a little more aware and less ignorant of their bodies and what's potentially ahead of them. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's all we have for now.
Mm-hmm.
This one is a rough one. Bless you for hanging in there with us.
Thanks.
We'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
Maybe.